welcome to At the Disney Movies with the Hearts.
I'm Kelly.
I'm David.
And this week, it's monkeys on a farm, but not a banana farm, because that would make too much sense.
A French farm.
With olives, ooh la la. Wee, wee, wee. That's a monkey, a French monkey, going wee, wee.
Wee, wee, wee. Monkeys Go Home from 1967.
I saw them, monsieur. They are charming.
What are you doing here again for? I mean,
They are your family, monsieur, but why did you not tell me?
Well, I wanted to keep it a secret.
Why, is it something to be ashamed of?
Well, no. It's just that,
Let me see them, monsieur, please.
Easy. They're not used to strangers. Take it easy.
And it's, of course, based on a book.
So I did miss that, actually. I mean, I saw it once we did the research, but I did miss
I saw it
in the credits. I was too busy writing down something about Dean Jones.
I mean, of course it was, because it has to be. I mean, any movie of this era, Walt Disney, outside of America, it has to be based on a book.
So, do you think that Walt Disney was actually a prolific reader, or did he just have people going, oh man, I just read this great book, we gotta do a movie on it?
I think it might have been a little bit of both. And I think he's underrated for trying to bring the world to America.
Correct, sir.
Yeah.
Because all these silly movies take place in other countries, in other cultures, or they try and share the base of our culture with other people. And I think people underappreciate that.
Oh, 100%. Because I think a lot of people just associate Walt Disney with strictly American. Disney is, American. People associate Disney with, Americana and this and that, but he actually really was all about
worldwide.
I mean, think about all that stuff he did in South America, all those movies, and if you look at all the attractions at Disney, he's all about Jungle Cruise, is all about the world, and It's a Small World is all about, he's very into global.
Well, and all of these 50s and 60s live action movies are just all over the place.
Yeah, this movie definitely had some Monkey's Uncle vibes, obviously.
Yeah, a little.
For the whole trying to teach the monkey to do this and that.
Yeah.
And you have the stupid girl and the guy's just totally annoyed with her. Yeah, definite Monkey's Uncle vibes. But it was Monkey's Uncle and I couldn't place it and something else had a baby.
Yeah.
And then I thought you could help me out, but...
Well, honestly, I think it's Monkey's Uncle and something we haven't seen yet had a baby. And I think that's why. I think we both know, once we see the other movie, what it's going to be bred with, but I don't think we've seen it yet.
So
but we know that this is just a Disney child.
It's just bizarre. It's a strange movie.
Oh, it's so weird.
And
it just...
I liked it, but
it's baffling. Yeah.
I didn't like it as much as some of the other live action movies.
Right, exactly.
But this movie had pieces from all these different movies that we watched, and I think it had the cool priest. I was getting Parent Trap vibes from that guy. It had this saucy cousin getting all sauced. It had crazy animals. It had some really stupid one-liners.
It had some wonky villains.
Oh yeah, it had a butcher.
Yeah, I thought he was a real estate agent, but he's a comptroller, lawyer, real estate agent. He's the town Jew.
I thought he was a real estate agent, too. This whole time, even till now, I thought he was a real estate agent.
Well, I mean, so he was the lawyer, the real estate agent, the banker, the secretary. Oh. And that's what they were painting him as.
But you can say that the portrayal of him was racist.
Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly right.
But it was more you have to be aware of the stereotypes.
So, no, you definitely, anybody knows. But I didn't
really think of it that way, but it's because...
But if you look at it just for a second, that's exactly what they were going after.
Right.
He was the outsider, weirdo, smart. It was not cool.
No, but it wasn't in the way that some of the animated movies are on the nose racist.
I think this is worse.
No, it probably is. But I'm saying that when people talk about, Disney movie racist stuff,
I think this is for me, this is at the top of the list because it's very obvious what they were trying to do. Anyhow.
So what did you initially like this movie? But wait, had you seen it?
No, of course not. I thought this movie was funny, but extraordinarily mediocre.
Right. But then I'm no, but I liked this part and I liked this part. No, but overall.
Right, exactly.
It was kind of boring.
It was slow.
Yeah.
I cannot believe how slow and sloggy, and how many things they could have added to make this better.
Right. I don't know. Maybe
I'm completely baffled by this movie. It's a baffling experience. Kelly, why don't you read the synopsis of this movie? Yeah. And unfortunately, we had to watch this movie on Amazon Prime. It's not on Disney Plus, which is also baffling.
Yeah, I mean, it has their golden boy, Dean Jones. Which,
yeah, I mean, that's all you really need to have a Disney movie.
So, Monkeys Go Home. Genre is kids.
Okay.
That's the genre.
I don't think kids would really like this movie, but okay.
Not like romance or comedy.
Comedy romance, yeah, that'd be about right.
An American inherits a farm and uses chimpanzees to harvest the fruit.
That's it?
That's it. It's Amazon Prime definition.
They couldn't even have said the south of France?
Yeah, no. And also, it was olives.
Yeah.
Is that under the fruit category?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. It has a seed.
No, I know, but it just doesn't, when you think about harvesting the fruit, it makes it seem like apples or bananas or, you know.
I definitely consider olives a fruit, but okay.
It doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't.
Savory fruit.
They could have just explained it better, I don't know. Not.
Yeah, I mean, harvest olives in the south of France would have been all they would have had to add.
Okay, so our director, Andrew V. McLovin.
This was his only Disney movie.
Yeah, he definitely is more of a
military and Western movies. That's what he does.
Gunsmoke, also the TV show, that was his big. He did a lot of episodes of that.
I feel like the Hellfighters movie, which was a John Wayne movie, is his biggest thing.
Well, and Return from the River Kwai, which I've never seen.
Well, yeah, and I've heard all kinds of things about that, but I've never seen it either.
So it just kind of makes you wonder, why did he do this movie? I don't know.
They had to have paid him.
It was like a feather. Maybe as a director back then, it was like a feather in your cap.
Well, it was his first movie. Before this, it was all TV shows.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Gotcha. That makes sense.
So this was his first movie.
Gotcha.
And then our actors, obviously, Dean Jones. We've seen him in The Love Bug. We've seen him in That Darn Cat.
This little car didn't do one thing tonight that can't be explained in terms of short circuits, sprung doors, grabbing steering, worn knuckles. Maybe some advertising gimmick.
And guess what?
We're going to see him a lot more.
We're going to see him. I looked through because $1
million egg.
Million dollar duck.
Oh, duck. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of movies we're about to see him
more
in.
times.
Oh my god.
Because there's The Ugly Dachshund, $1 Million Duck.
Oh yeah, Ugly Dachshund, yeah.
There's several others.
There are several others.
Oh, Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's 3 other ones that I was like, oh, that's on our list.
Yeah.
Something about a horse with a flannel pajama or something. Yeah. I don't know.
Basically, all of the 70s belong to Dean Jones.
Yeah, or late 60s to 70s.
Late 60s to 70s. He's great.
He is, but he's kind of a one-note pony. Like, he just
kind of douchey.
Yeah, he's almost, you know what Dean Jones is? The George Clooney of back then. He's kind of like a dashing debonair, but he just does the same. If you look at all the George Clooney movies, his face never really changes.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Like, he plays the same character in every movie with the same cadence, the same kind of zingers, and...
So far, I feel like his best role was That Darn Cat.
Oh, 150%.
He actually got a little nuance there.
Yeah, no, he was better in this than in Love Bug, I think. But... oh, well, maybe not. And then we also have Maurice Chevalier,
who's a famous singer.
Yeah.
Super famous singer in France.
Each time I see a little girl of 5 or 6 or 7, I can't resist a joyous urge to smile and say thank heaven for little girls.
And this was his last movie.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
And most of the movies he did was in the 30s. Like, he was a star of the 30s.
We have, and really with all the rest of these people, we have no idea. The hot blonde, Yvette Mimieux. Mimieux.
But she's, I think, one of those actresses from back then that's kind of just famous for being Yvette Mimieux. This was the height of Yvette Mimieux.
Yeah, but she did a lot of movies.
No, she did.
She was in a lot of stuff, like something called The Time Machine, Jackson and Commander, which she was the star of.
But she's
Black
like
Hole, Neptune Factor.
What's that 60s actress with wears all the eyeliner? She's super hot.
I don't know.
I can't think.
I thought this lady was like kind of classically hot.
Yeah, I mean, she's just kind of blonde lady, French lady.
Yeah, but it wasn't that. It wasn't that easy. She had a little roughness, and that's why I mean classically hot.
Yeah, she's like what's her face? She reminds me of someone that we've already seen, but I can't think of it.
Sure.
Do you have any fun facts, David?
This was the most devoid movie in fun facts I've ever run across. I mean, it was Maurice Chevalier's last movie.
It started production while Disney was alive, so he greenlighted this project, and then he passed away before it was finished.
It was shot in California.
That actually really surprised me.
Yeah, a little bit.
I thought, maybe they shot this in France, because it did actually, like, the scenes with all the villages.
I thought they shot it in Italy, to be honest. I mean...
Yeah, it did kind of have...
Yeah.
It just looked very realistic, so good job, Disney, with that studio.
This was a hell of a movie to shoot. But otherwise, I don't have anything else.
So, well, I had to search, and it's not really a fun fact, but
I had to search.
it was a funny tagline that they had on the movie posters, and it said, "A bunch of banana bandits put a budding romance to the skids." Or on the skids, excuse me.
That's super accurate. So let's plow into the plot.
Let's peel the peel back on this banana.
Let's pick up some olives.
It's just, before we start, I just can't. This plot is so bizarre.
But it makes perfect sense, because now I recently watched this like documentary thing where they harvest olives, and now they have these big canvas things that they pull in when all the olives fall.
So that's a thing. The wind blows the olives off the tree.
Oh, absolutely. But now they're smart about it, and they line the floor with these things that they can pull, these cloths that they can pull in or pull up and get all the olives down in, and it's a super simple operation because they're smart about it now.
Gotcha.
No, this is totally in the real world.
I didn't know
which
that.
Which is crazy.
I thought it was just some hokey, weird thing that they made up to
No. This is absolutely true.
Oh my god, I can't. Women's hands are better.
But children's hands are best.
Okay.
The priest knows that.
I can't. Stop. He is a pure and wonderful soul.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, it doesn't matter that he's
the choir club has never seen it.
Oh my god, stop it. I can't. Dean Jones Strikes Again. Very neat. Initially, like, as soon as his name popped up.
Oh, no, both of us
I just looked at you, and I was like, see your face, and you were just like, you didn't roll your eyes, but you were just like, okay.
Okay, yeah, Dean Jones. But the other thing for me is that yellow
that
they use at the beginning of every movie.
Yeah.
They change the typeface, but it's the same yellow color at the beginning of every movie. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it was
is
like...
It's just like, you just see yellow typeface in some weird thing, and it's a Disney movie.
Yeah, like Swiss Family Robinson, Boatniks, That Darn Cat, all had this... They all have this yellow font.
It's the same... Well, no, it's the same color,
color.
In a different font. And this is classic Disney, and there's a song playing that I could not recognize this as French. Are they in the mountains of South America somewhere? But
I mean, that would have made more sense, because they could have harvested bananas, but... whatever, it's fine.
Or anything else. But eventually we come to find that it's France.
Which, this is bad, but initially I thought they were in South America too.
So
because
did I.
I was like, this has some Three Caballero vibes to it.
And he has his, car and everything. And I'm like,
yeah,
this is South America.
It's
the south of France in the 70s or 60s. Sorry, France.
Which, that car was pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah, those old Fiats are cool as hell. Yeah. But of course it's Dean Jones, and then there's a hot blonde.
Oh yeah,
all of a sudden
his dream girl apparently that he starts following, and then he peeps in the window of the butcher where she went in, and she's like clearly making out with this dude, not pushing him away in any way.
No, but she was. She's getting raped by this gigantic monster.
I know, but from Dean Jones's perspective, it looks like she's leaning into it and she's all about it.
But this is a 60s and 70s trope.
In a lot of movies, it's a trope.
That's what I mean, yeah.
The dude,
I saw you kissing this guy. Oh, no. Oh, he was just sexually assaulting you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And he's like, I'll never stop. And she's like, please stop.
Yeah, please. I am never going to you, Marcel.
Yeah. And she's like, just give me the meat, not the meat that's in your pants, the meat that's on your table. Marcel, get your salami off the table.
Ordered.
And he's like, I wrapped my salami for you.
I'll cut it if you like.
That's how much I love you.
Yeah. So then Dean asks her help. She points him to the right guy. He has this inheritance. He wants to live there. There's money and olives, and the little nebbish guy is, no, there's not. You should sell your property.
Yeah, which, okay, for a second, I thought maybe, because I was thinking, how are the monkeys going to play into this? And I thought, oh, maybe there's monkeys living on the farm, and the realtor's, like, not the bad guy. He's actually trying to warn him about the monkeys. He's like, no, you don't want that place.
No.
Because there's crazy monkeys running everywhere.
Yeah, but that's not the case at all. So he goes to his cool ancient home that's all super dusty, and all of a sudden, the singing church folk roll up, and we meet Father Sylvain.
Yeah, they're just running through his field. And I'm like, why can't these children pick his olives?
Well, I think those children are the town children.
He's like, here, come to confession.
Yeah.
He was really into people going to his confessional, but most priests are into that.
How big does this thing get?
And the power of Christ compels you.
Yeah.
Dean Jones is just very naive about everything to do with farming.
Everything.
But
Dean Jones this is the part that he didn't check out a book from the library. He didn't.
I mean, honestly,
he just listened to his mom, maybe?
This it's just bananas, because there's a lot of these movies where people are like, oh, I'm just going to go buy a house in France or whatever. There's some movie.
Well, I'm going to inherit this, and I'm going to work the entire olive farm myself.
Right.
You didn't assume you'd have to hire somebody?
No, he's dumb. He just thinks he can do it himself. Father Sylvain is explaining, like, no, dude, you can't. And he's like, oh, I'll hire people. He's like, well, the cost of labor is really high. Like,
yeah, you either need to get married and have children.
Which, that doesn't help me right now. Obviously, he's like...
Yeah, year 1, no, but year 10, you'll be good.
The priest is... he is
hilarious.
He is the best part of this movie. Yeah. He's trying to hook him up, because then
he's like, I know widows.
You could marry a widow. I happen to know several.
So.
Oh yeah, and then he gets the idea because he pulls out a picture that has him with a bunch of chimps, and I'm thinking, has Dean Jones been in another movie with chimps that we haven't seen? This is very left field. No explanation at all. At this point.
I just feel like, after Monkey's Uncle and whatever the first...
Misadventures of Merlin Jones.
Yeah, you're just supposed to believe that chimps are your best friend.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
So many chimps. Everyone can get a chimp.
Which, I'm surprised we haven't integrated them into society yet. They're smart enough.
I feel as though chimps were like, they were like this phase. People were so obsessed with chimps in all these movies, and in the 60s.
Well, I think once we got into the 70s, that all the animal rights people were like, man, you can't those chimps, like, leave them alone, man.
But then there was another wave in the 90s of some chimp movies.
A little bit, but then the same thing happened, like, that chimp has a right to live its life, man. It's gonna die in the wild, but come on, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's gonna go get these chimps, apparently, to pick his olives?
Yeah, he trained the chimps in the air? Or?
Which we don't find out till later.
A little later.
Yeah.
In the meantime, the hot blonde shows up in his kitchen in the morning to cook him breakfast. Father Sylvain sent her, but actually he meant to send her mom. And you know the widow.
The most ridiculous part of this whole thing is Dean Jones gets up out of bed and he's wearing full, like, long sleeve and pants, and he's, like, embarrassed that she's going to see him in his pajamas, so he has to put on a robe. I'm like, you're literally covered from head to toe.
You know what that is? Because he actually had a...
I mean, probably.
So he had to cover up his...
God, don't look at my banana.
Yeah. That's the whole thing, is that, I mean, he's a dude. He woke up with a... It's fine. And then all 9 kids, all of
her brothers
Maria's brothers and sisters come over, and they're a diverse looking group of kids.
I mean, her mom knew how to get it.
Did they have all the same dad? I don't think so.
No, her mom was a black widow.
Yeah,
obviously.
There was a lot of dark looking kids. There was a lot of light looking kids. I'm not saying nothing. whatever she want to do is good.
I was thinking the same thing.
But one of the kids picks up a picture of him and the monkeys and he flips out and it makes no sense.
No, him trying to hide the monkeys throughout this entire movie makes no sense.
Yeah, well, no, it makes sense when it's the labor part, but this part makes absolutely no sense.
That makes sense.
No, it does, because you're trying to get a competitive advantage over other people. And obviously it causes the hugest problem in the movie.
Sort of. I mean, the townspeople don't care that much, but the
the
other two idiots do. Why is he so weird about the monkeys? Oh, and then doesn't he go back to town at this point?
Well, we get a weird scene of Marcel being jelly about the American.
Oh, yeah, and he's nosy as about this.
And he looks like a murderer. At this point, he looks like he's going to kill somebody.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is creepy as
And Maria's, I know he has kids because I saw that there's this picture and
the kid saw it and he has ugly children that look like chimps.
Yeah, he's ashamed because his kids are so ugly.
So, and in the meantime, because they were talking about he was out of town, then we see DJ rolling up with chimps in his car with sweatshirts on.
Oh my god, and he's like, keeps being like, get down. And we still don't know that he trained them in the Air Force, and I was like, why do they have these Air Force sweatshirts on? I don't know. There's no context at all.
And as he's passing Maria and waving at her, one of the chimps pops up and waves at her, so she's like, yo, what the f***? You got chimps, motherfucker? Oh my god, I want to see him. It's so cool.
And he's like, oh, okay, fine, blah, blah, blah. And then we find out that he used to train chimps in the Air Force.
In the Air Force, they were astro chimps. They were astronaut chimps.
Yeah.
They were going to go into space until that program got canceled. And we find out Maria wants to help. She loves the chimps. She wants to make them cute outfits.
But really, she means just recycle her siblings' outfits.
Well, I'm sure she had to do some tailoring, but... and he's like, oh, they can't go to town, blah, 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 blah. He's going to teach the chimps to pick olives, but he doesn't want her to tell anybody else because he doesn't want the townspeople f***ing it up. Which makes sense to me.
Now, that does make a little bit, not telling him his plan, but just hiding that he has chimps. Who cares? Literally nobody cares.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe some people care. And he's caught buying loads of bananas and... Marcel and Parpopolis are suspicious.
Yeah, and I'm like, why are these guys hanging out? Why are they hanging out? But it's because...
Well, it's because of the town conservatives.
Yeah, and it's also because they... What's the guy, the realtor's guy's name? Or the... Parpopolis.
Something like that, yeah, I don't care.
Papa Parpo is... Let's
call him Popo from now on.
Yeah, Popo is secretly using Mr. Butcher because he knows...
Of course, because Mr. Butcher's a moron.
Mr. Butcher has the hots for Maria, and Popo was watching the chimps, right after this.
Yeah, he's spying, and he watches the foibles where DJ falls out of the tree, and then Father Sylvain rolls up on the chimp training... And he's sworn to secrecy. And this is the point where Maria's like, oh, you need a boy monkey to help out the bitch.
For f***'s sake, Maria's an idiot.
Well, Maria wants that. If he would have just given Maria here, the movie would have ended.
She is like the horniest chick ever.
Well, she's French.
She is just, oh my god, give me that banana now.
Yeah.
But no, she's all about like, oh, they need a man. And he's like, no, it's going to distract them. And he's 100% right. He's 100% right.
Yeah, but he should have picked up what she was putting down.
I mean, he's kind of aloof.
And put it in.
But that's why this is kind of similar with Monkey's uncle. That whole dynamic between them.
But that was an autistic guy versus the girl. This is just a moron versus the girl.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I didn't remember this next scene when I was writing down my favorite scenes.
With Marcel trying to get the town angry.
This is one of my favorite parts.
The Republican town rally.
Yeah, and
nobody cares.
Literally nobody cares. And he's like, okay, we need people to paint these signs, and nobody volunteers, and like
And then he has to volunteer himself.
And they're like, okay, we second it, and just like this whole
he seconds it. With Parpolis.
Yeah, they just pass it by themselves, and all the townspeople, there's like ladies, they're like knitting or shucking peas, or they're just literally nobody cares. And the monkeys are going to take your jobs and all this, and which is completely ridiculous.
It's slave labor.
They took our job. Took
our job. So he graffitis the town. They're big propagandists. The butcher is a big propagandist. Which is a fair thing.
It's fine.
And then they get in this argument, and he's like, oh, don't try and confuse us with theologies, Father.
Oh, yeah, because Father, before he goes in there, one of the best lines is Dean Jones says to Father, stay out of this. And then Father's like following me. He's like, no, I'm going to follow you now.
Yeah. So Marcel acts like a moron, dummy, and then Maria tells Dean Jones to off, basically.
Yeah, because he's being a dick to her, like, repeatedly. I mean, she's also kind of dumb and daffy, but...
But he should have just been sticking his in her rather than all
and she would have been
stuff.
like, okay, cool.
Yeah. It's just, it's silly that they weren't right away.
And they both storm off from each other, and then the priest all of a sudden decides he's gonna hijack Maria's motorbike.
And chase down Dean.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah, and they need to go consult a political pro.
The mayor.
The mayor of the town. Who says, hey, you can do your own propaganda. Yeah. And they attack at dawn. And then the monkeys are picketing and doing their own graffiti and sloganeering, and it's hilarious. And all the townspeople rally around, and they think it's hilarious.
Well, they all got woken up because the priest, or what's his face, and Dean Jones are ringing the most awful bell, like, before dawn.
Ringing the church bell, yeah.
Yeah, to wake everybody up.
And Marcel monkeys around with everybody... Or no, Marcel monkeys around with the clowns, and he gets clowned.
Yeah, because he steps in the bucket
of
paint.
And so does Parparpolise. And then we come to this weird scene.
Yeah. So this is, I think that what this is supposed to be is Bastille Day, which is like French...
Independence Day.
I'm sorry for my ignorance, but I believe it's
4th of July.
Yeah, it's their version of Independence Day, which they had it first. So really, we copied it from them. Yeah. But whatever. But yeah, it's basically like this whole...
I think all countries celebrate their independence.
Right, but they're all partying, and the father's got the church kids up there singing.
But for some reason, Maria decides that Dean Jones isn't good enough, and she needs to around with Marcel to
She's
make him jealous.
just trying to make Dean Jones jealous.
Yeah.
That's
she's
literally...
like, oh...
She waits until he's looking, and then, what's his face? Mr. Butcher is Marcel is so stupid. He's just like, oh, she's looking at me.
And then we get the English Joie de Vivre song.
Joie, joie, joie de vivre, monnaie cannot buy it.
Joy, joy, the joy of living doesn't cost a sou.
And there's more jelly scenes, and this goes on for a long...
It does go on a little bit.
Long time.
But it was funny with all the kids singing. There was several of them who were literally not singing. They were just opening and closing their mouths.
Were singing.
They were just opening and closing their mouths terribly.
This is a looks... Yeah, there was nothing with that. And then the Olive Miller comes up and is, hey, I can't take your olives. But Dean Jones is super smart and won't be screwed over by his monopoly. He's like, hey, I'll give you 5 francs for all the olives picked by monkeys.
Yeah, because he knows that if he volunteers, because the cost of labor is so high, he volunteers the monkey to pick everybody's olives for free.
Yeah.
And this is what they'll get. So they're all about that, obviously, because they're going to make more profit.
And the town's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. We'll go with Dessart, Dean Jones.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden Maria wants to again.
Yeah, she's like, oh my god, you're so kind. Let's dance and let me do this super wacky. They're doing American surf dancing, kind of.
I wasn't sure what was happening.
No, it's like surf dancing. Like 60s surf dancing.
Like Beach Boys.
Dean Jones has his hands on his hips and he's moving them very awkwardly. And then he starts doing this and it's very clearly surf dancing.
Yeah, okay.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Oh, that's right.
And then Marcel loses it when he sees them.
Now, calm yourself and tell me what's wrong.
Castillo betrayed us. He made a deal with the monkeys.
Aye, then it is too bad I was away.
Even you couldn't have prevailed against 5 francs a measure.
Now, my friend, all is not yet lost. While you were letting things get out of hand, I was making certain arrangements, certain legal arrangements, that will pluck this American from our beloved soil by the roots and destroy him forever.
But then Maria and DJ go back to the house. Maria wants to see the monkeys, and he's like, no. And then he kisses her.
No. And
no, you don't get to see the monkeys. And he's like, oh, I like you too much.
Yeah.
He's like, but I can't marry you because I'm a moron.
And this is the weirdest dialogue interaction of the entire movie because she literally said nothing about wanting to marry him. It's literally just
She just wants to get her. Yeah.
She's literally just trying to get down. And he's all, oh my God, I can't marry you. And she's, okay, thanks for being so honest.
Why do you have to talk so much and be so honest? She just wants to get. She's a French girl.
Yeah, she literally doesn't care. Yeah. And he just makes it worse, which is just
so American and so French.
Yes, very just dumb. And then he goes to his house, and there's this random
Angélie, his
quotes, cousin, but they play like sexy music when he opens the door. It's
because she's supposed to be hot, I guess.
She looks like 30 years older than him.
Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me.
Well, she just looks like a trashy bar whore, which is
it's very strange.
Oh no, and she's the cousin, and now she gets 50%.
Which is like, clearly this is a bunch of bull. Like, clearly this is a bunch of bull. He's like, okay, you can have my bed.
And she's like, I heard you have animals like slaves, or slaves like animals.
Yeah, and she's, what's in that room? He's, it's just a storeroom. Don't worry about it.
Right. So then Maria returns, and she tells the cousin some story in her ear we never hear.
Yeah, but then we sort of kind of tangentially find out that it's, that her uncle had 4 dead wives that he used to torture. Because she opens up the door
and sees a noose.
When they're not in there. And at this point, Maria, I was just like, you are like unidentified flying oddball Daffy right now. Like, you're so dumb. Really dumb. Because she's like, oh my God, you must be this lady, even though we just got back. Like, it's just like...
And you said that, oh my God, they didn't leave the lights on, and the door was unlocked.
He's like, it's true? This is your cousin? Oh, that's weird. And
so the lady sees the noose, and then they take the monkeys to Maria's barn, and they're with all the chickens.
Oh, yeah, and they get this really wacky scene where then they're kissing again, and the monkeys push all the hay on them.
Yeah, there's a big hay drop, and they're supposed to roll in the hay at that part, but they don't.
They probably did off
Well, I mean, they kind of did, but they don't. Maria comes to see the cuz in the morning, gives her the ghost story. Henry goes to town and is like, I'm just gonna leave. Sylvain tries to stop. He can't. But Maria plots the trap. Maria is the plotting.
Pulls some kind of plan out of her somewhere. And
then we get the drunk cuz coming home.
Oh my God.
DJ leaves, and she's like, there's ghosts, don't leave.
I've been fighting evil spirits with spirits.
Yeah.
Which is an amazing line.
It is a great line.
An incredible line that I want to start using now.
And then that passes out. DJ goes to the barn for the monkeys, and Maria had taken them for a walk back to the house, and she puts them in the bedroom with the drunk. And the chimps chase the cousin away.
Yeah, and it's kind of a funny scene, but it's like, you would know those were monkeys. Like, you would know.
But
she was drunk.
But she calls them demons. And then there's this weird scene with Dean Jones and Maria where Maria's like, please me. And he still does not.
Oh, but we also forget that this cousin...
And they do more kissing, and then there's the cousin confession.
Yeah, she runs to confession, which so I knew she was fake. And then
we all knew she was fake.
No, but I didn't realize when she ran to confession that, she confessed everything to the priest. I thought she was just trying to be like, I'm drunk and I'm a slut. Like, I don't know. Then the next scene is with DJ and the priest. Yeah,
and Marcel at the cafe.
Honesty aperitif talk.
Yeah. Toast to honest men.
Yeah, and because they clearly know, and this scene was actually executed pretty well.
Yeah, but I still don't buy that Marcel had no idea. That's so stupid.
He just plays with meat all day, so like, what are you gonna expect? I don't know.
He'd be better off playing with his meat all day.
I mean, that's what I meant. Like, he plays with his meat and other people's meat.
So he basically says, the Perelius guy was screwing you.
God damn it, Popo.
Marcel goes wild and the town follows. There's this huge brawl.
Oh my God.
And the monkeys get out of the car and they cause more havoc. Dean Jones is trying to save them one by one, but they just keep getting back out of the car.
This is like a candle shoe level end scene brawl where everybody is just fighting everybody and it's crazy.
And everybody's trying to kill Paropolis, but he keeps escaping like a little whatever. Then there's a dog party at the butcher's, and the father spares Paropolis. At this point, father comes out with his olive branch, stops the nonsense.
Yeah, he just breaks everyone up with a giant stick.
The olive branch is supposed to be peace.
Yeah, no.
And then the winds come, and everybody goes out to watch the monkeys pick the olives. Well, oh, whoops, Maria showed up with the boy.
She is
monkey.
such a daffy idiot.
Moron.
She ruined everything.
She did.
She literally, hey, don't do that because they're going to get distracted, which is exactly what freaking happens. Because I kept alternating with Maria. I'm like, oh, she's kind of smart. And I'm like, oh, no, she's daffy. Dumb. And then she does this, and I'm like, oh, you are a moron. I hate you.
Right. So the priest has to give this big speech about community, and everybody has to help pick the olives. And
then Dean Jones proposes in a backwards sort of way, but not really.
But she's like, oh no, these are our olives.
Yeah, and really he's like, the alarm bell should be going, oh my god, I need a prenup.
Yeah. And in the meantime, the chimp ladies are chasing.
And the male chimp is dressed some sort of weird, Gilligan fancy guy.
Look like Gilligan, yeah.
And he's doing this.
It can't stop smiling. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, no,
I didn't like it.
And they were, I don't know, the lady chimps were all about that. Look at my chimp butt.
If you can catch it.
Let me touch your banana.
So Kelly, what was your favorite part of this movie?
So, this was kind of hard. I did like the cousin coming back and being all drunk and being, oh, I'm fighting spirits with spirits, just because that's literally one of my favorite lines in any movie that we've watched.
That's pretty good.
Why has nobody ever said that? That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then that transitioning to the whole her running away because the monkeys are kicking around, that whole scene, I enjoyed that.
So for me, it was the counter protest. With the monkeys picketing signs and painting things and the whole town coming out laughing. That was great.
It was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. And then they're like, oh, what side are you on? Because the monkeys put the paintbrush in the butcher's hand.
Yeah.
But I didn't write it down, but I mean, I gotta go with also the town meeting where the two guys are.
So that's my second part. Marcel's political outrage where nobody cares.
Literally nobody cares.
And it's hilarious.
They're just, oh, what if they went into your furniture shop?
Because now if you put that on Facebook, everybody's like, no!
Well, I mean, it is kind of, that's literally what I was thinking the whole time was, oh, this sounds familiar.
Yeah.
But it's so ridiculous. Any scene with the priest, too, I really enjoyed. Where he's chasing him down on the motorbike
Yeah, I can get down with that. My last one was all of Maria's ghosts. The part where she explains, here, and then she lets the chimps run free.
Oh, yeah. That's the whole thing. It's part of the cousin getting scared. And yeah, that whole thing is
hilarious.
Great. It's really funny and quite clever.
So for songs, there was just the joie de vivre multiple times throughout the movie.
Yeah.
In English and French.
With the lip-syncing children.
Yeah. And otherwise, this is not a musical movie.
No, not at all. Maybe it should have been. I don't know. David missed that monkey's uncle action.
No. So for our main character, Hank, a spoiled inheritance punk brat who trained monkeys in the Air Force.
It's very strange, very bizarre. And so this guy living in France, you don't have any other family?
Moving to France.
No, his uncle who's dead.
Yeah, because he moved to France from America. I mean...
Oh, but they didn't have any kids or anything? That's it? I don't know.
It was his mom's something's farm. I mean, he was the only cousin until the other lady showed up.
Get down. Dumb
That's
kitty.
Our cat.
She's like, I'm cute. No, don't get up there.
And then we had Maria, the hot blonde with the heart of gold.
God, she's so dumb. Yeah, I mean, she, like I said earlier, she just went from being daffy to not daffy. But, you know, I figured out while we were talking who she reminded me of. Do you remember in those Callaways, the blonde chick, Bindi or
Oh, no,
Birdie?
she was perfect. Yeah, she was Bridie.
She was like...
It was Bridie.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like Bindi or something.
It was Bridie.
But she's a dumber version of that chick.
No, I think she's exactly Bridie.
Yeah,
I
but
think
they
look,
interchanged them. They look the same.
That's what I mean. You could have interchanged them. She is the perfect Bridie. You're exactly right. And then our villains, Marcel, the gigantic butcher douchebag, and Peropolis, the small, nebbish, oh, I'm not supposed to be this racial stereotype, but I absolutely am.
Yeah, it was kind of email villains a little bit.
No, this was much more nefariously horrible.
I don't know, I kept just thinking about other movies while we were watching this.
Because the giant French guy as a douchebag is a trope, and the nebbish Hasidic fellow is also a trope, and it's not good.
No, it's really not. And that's just what you get in some of these older movies, I guess.
Yeah. And then, Sylvain, the priest, is the great side character, but really there's nothing else.
No, there's
nothing else.
There's like the random grocery store guy who sells bananas.
Yeah, but that's nothing.
There's the cousin who had a good performance.
Yeah,
but,
she was fine as a redheaded cousin, bar whore.
The fake cousin.
Yeah.
Fighting spirits with spirits.
So for the cinematography, it was fine.
I like the shots of the village. Anything that was in the village, I really liked.
I would really like to see it remastered because it was not.
No, the quality was horrendous. Like, it was fuzzy. The color was all wrong. Like,
Disney Plus needs to do this a favor and do it in HD. It would probably be really cool.
Yeah, no, like, especially some of the shots of the olive orchard, you call it?
Yeah,
Is it an orchard?
orchard?
But I really liked all the shots of the village. I liked the village shots for sure.
So, what do you got for a quotable line, Kelly?
Other than spirits with spirits, when he says, "Stay out of this," no, I will come with you. Because it was just the way that the priest delivered it. He's like with his French accent, like, I'm not gonna butcher it and repeat it, but that just was it. I laughed out loud at that part.
So mine is, why do you have to talk so much and be so honest? It's a good point for dudes to
Stop talking. Yeah. She literally had nothing about being married.
Yeah.
Like, didn't even want... That was the most bizarre interaction in this movie.
Well, yeah, because she should have got it in, and she didn't, and she was pissed. That's why it's my favorite.
What was your biggest surprise or disappointment, David?
It was so boring for so many stretches.
Oh, I think I'm going to go with that too. Because, I mean, I was surprised they filmed it completely in California. That did surprise me. But it just because I liked a lot of parts of the movie.
Right.
But it was really boring.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why. It doesn't make sense to my brain. Like, I really enjoyed a lot of parts of it, but it was boring.
It does to me, but... so the other part of this, I don't know if it's a surprise or disappointment, both of them are kind of the same. Why were there not more monkeys?
Like, there was only 4?
No, why were there not more scenes of monkeys doing cool shit?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like, yeah,
like,
I don't...
If you're gonna have monkeys, why don't you have them do something?
But that was kind of... If you remember from Monkey's Uncle, that was one of the commentary we had. It was the monkey was really prevalent for the first couple scenes, and then nothing until the very end.
But this movie had not a lot of monkey.
No, I know. They could have had more, because all the scenes that the monkeys were in were really good. Especially when the monkeys were grabbing the bottles of wine off the table. They were constantly... like, as soon as they came in, the first scene, they were trying to get drunk, and then at the end, they were trying to get drunk. They were trying to constantly get wasted.
Yeah, it's not bad. So if you had to remake this movie, Kelly, what would you do?
So, I honestly don't know, because I don't really know how you'd fix this movie.
So I do have thoughts.
But so, yeah, share your thoughts, because I don't know.
I would cut a lot of the stupid out of this movie. All the boring parts where you're just like, oh my god, this is unnecessary. And I would add more monkeys. There needs to be more monkeys in this movie. But they didn't do it. That's fine. Whatever.
Especially since the name of the movie is literally Monkeys Go Home, I was so confused before we watched this of why it was called that. And then when the protest signs where it literally says Monkeys Go Home, I was like, oh,
yeah, they
okay.
just took it from the protest sign.
Yeah, that's seems a little lazy, but whatever.
So, do you have any final thoughts, Kelly?
No, nothing that we haven't already talked about, just I'm perplexed.
For me, it's like, do you like blondes or Dean Jones?
Is that a question for me?
Or anybody? If you do, if the answer is yes, then you should watch this movie.
Yeah,
if the answer is no, if you don't like, I won't say buxom, if you like blondes or Dean Jones, watch it.
Or monkeys. But there's not enough monkeys for David.
There's not enough monkeys to make this.
Or if you're into like 60s, 70s kind of movies, then you'll really like this. Because most of those movies now that we've watched, enough.
Many, yes. It's
kind of, I get it.
So, were you able to find a budget for this film?
I was not.
Yeah, me neither. Of course not.
They made $3 million. That's all I know.
Yeah, which means almost nothing. Obviously, they made a lot of money because this movie probably cost them $100,000 to do. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe $300,000.
They shot everything on site, so...
Yeah, and they didn't pay anybody because none of these people were real actors. So, Kelly, if you had to rate this movie, what would you rate it?
If this movie did not make me smile as much as it did in certain parts, or make me laugh as much as it did, it would have gotten... Neville! It would have gotten a much lower rating, but I gave it a 42%. It wasn't very good. But I also didn't hate it.
It wasn't. And I also didn't hate it. And I also didn't love it. I kind of feel like this movie literally deserves its rating. And it's ironic in our 100th episode. I give this movie a 50. It's right in the middle of good, bad, and indifferent Disney movies.
Okay.
There is this kind of, to me, seems like the prime meridian of like, okay, it's fine. It's fine. And that's the best praise I can give it.
But as this is our 100th episode, it's kind of perfect for thinking about some of the movies we started watching with this, like Bullet Griffin, Herbie, like all these crazy old movies, and this is like kind of has a lot of those things kind of pulled into it. Like
it does and it doesn't.
Imagine if we had to watch like G-Force for 100 episode. That would be lame. That'd be garbage.
That's fine. We'd be cognizant of the fact that we were going to do a 0 for 100. I'm actually really happy we did a 50 for 100.
Yeah.
That we hit the goalpost right on the dot.
Gong!
It's dong. Oh, I don't know what to do from
here. And then all the monkeys in the stands are going crazy.
Yeah. This is not good.
It's really not. And it's very, just like I said.
But it's not bad either.
It's confusing. It's very confusing. Like, there's certain parts of the movie that I was quite joyous to have witnessed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a bad movie.
But other parts that I was just, this is really boring.
Right. And now it's time for Kelly's favorite part of the podcast.
The first episode into a new chapter. 101. What if it's 101 Dalmatians? Oh my god.
Didn't we just watch that?
No.
Oh no, we watched
Lady and the Tramp. But I'm just like, wouldn't that be crazy? If it was 101 Dalmatians, that would be cuckoo bananas.
It'd be
bananas.
Cuckoo, cocoa, baruna, bananas.
Bananas. Herbie goes bananas. Oh, we already went there.
Well, it's definitely not that.
Oh, okay.
It's number 278.
I have no context for where this is at all.
2005.
Okay, so this is like Freaky Friday era. Let's wait for the cat. Let's wait in suspense for the cat to get done taking a massive Because, yes, there's a cat box in our podcast studio.
Yeah, it was the only out-of-the-way room. It is close to Herbie Fully Loaded. It's, really, it's the movie before Herbie
I'm
Fully
nervous.
Loaded. Okay. It's from 2005. It's called Ice Princess.
Ice Princess.
Do you want to make sure? Well, no, I'll do it right here. I'll make sure.
What, are you going to make sure it came out in theaters? You don't believe that it came out in theaters? Really, Kat? I have no idea what this is. Literally no idea. Ice Princess. What do you think it's about, David?
Some ice skating.
So it's about ice skating. It's got to be about ice skating, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Why would it not be?
I mean, I don't know. What if she's
it
like...
It just sounds horrible.
An ice sculptress.
Well, that'd be cool. The chainsaw?
Yeah, a chainsaw. She's like...
But never. Not with Disney.
No, Ice Princess. So maybe it's like she's...
Nancy Kerrigan?
Yeah, she's like a Nancy Kerrigan type, but in the 2000s. So it's like of that kind of Herbie Fully Loaded, that,
It's the movie before Herbie Fully Loaded.
Yeah, so it's that kind of time period. Like, oh my god, I'm in high school and I'm ice skating, or she has to like learn how to ice skate for some reason. Yeah, and there's going to be like some sort of scene where she's like on the ice and there's going to be a hot dude and he's like...
I'm going to say there's definitely a senior who's like...
Yeah, and he's like, he's like, you just got to feel the ice. Yeah, and he's like a hockey player and he's like, you got to feel the ice. And he like touches her and then she's like, I feel it. And then they like skate around and she's like, then all of a sudden magically she learns how to skate.
Yeah. I think you're not far off.
Yeah.
That sounds
no, because that's the teenage girl early 2000s formula.
Yeah, and this was 2005.
Yeah,
so.
I got it.
I'm pretty sure
I don't know why the princess part comes in.
Well, I mean...
Maybe she's actually a princess. Maybe she has like a body double.
So it's like Princess Diaries?
Or like a Princess and the Pauper type situation?
Yeah, it could be.
I don't know. I have no idea. I just know it's going to be some high school bull.
Yeah, and it's going to suck.
You liked Princess Diaries?
Well, Princess Diaries is great, but this is definitely...
No.
No.
Ice Princess.
This is not going to be good.
She's gonna ice your face.
What if it was animated?
It's not animated. I know all the animated movies. It's not animated. Definitely live action.
Same. So... if you'd like to follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, at the Disney Movies, send us all your likes, comments, subscribes, and just interact with us. We're a fun group of folks.
So fun. If you want to leave us a review on whatever, podcast platform that you subscribe to, we'd really appreciate that, whether it's Apple or Stitcher or your blog.
Whatever. Yeah.
Whatever it is.
And if you'd like to send us an atthedisneymovies@gmail.com. But in the meantime, this has been At the Disney Movies with the Hearts.
I'm Kelly.
I'm David.
Bye!
What a proper, distinguished lady. I don't wish to participate in the podcast now that
I forgot to tell you, I had a horrific dream last night.
I don't know anything about that.
Just hold on. I whacked it out of focus.
Okay, I think you're doing good. It's okay. Yeah, you don't.
Yeah, it's completely fine.
You're fine.
You're fine. You're fine. Go.